McLoud, people!
I know that I look very abductable. And I want to apologize to the audience tonight because I was in a bad car accident getting to the show tonight. I was driving and an Uber came out of nowhere and sideswiped my big wheel. Well, I'm 38 years old, and I have to say, looking young, it is difficult for me, especially when I go to restaurants with my wife. Because when the waiter comes over, the waiter always asks my wife if she wants a drink, and if I want a box of crayons. And give it up for me, too. I just got out of the joint. I just did 20 years in federal prison, everybody. Come on. Let me hear it. I asked my cellmate what he was in for. He said, first-degree murder. I said, murder? Jesus. He said, what are you in for, kid? I said, ripping a tag off a pillow at Kohl's. Driving to the show tonight, I passed a funeral home that had a sign on it that said, basic cremation. And I thought about this, as opposed to what? A deluxe cremation? Can you imagine that phone call? Yeah, hi, Bob. Yeah, we added some sparkling glitter to your wife. You can come pick her up this afternoon. We got her looking like a disco ball. Now, I've had a lot of interesting jobs to keep myself being a stand-up comedian. Like, I used to work as an orderly in a hospital. And sometimes the doctors would tell me to go pick up their patients. And sometimes the patients would ask me questions, and I have to politely answer them. Like, I remember this one time I was wheeling a sweet little old lady into pre-op, and she said to me, is this my last ride? I said, probably. But now I have a new job now. I'm in charge of the inventory management, the implants that go into the patients. And the biggest challenge we have is dealing with the expired products that might end up in a patient. Like just the other day, I got pulled into my boss's office, and she says to me, Patrick, we've gone over this. That patient could have died. You implanted the wrong expired product. Then she says to me, I mean, imagine if it was like one of your family members on that table. And I'm like, which one? Because I could think of like 12 that could just go. Like I get like a bad aunt that I wouldn't mind losing, you know? You know who's attracted to me? Chubby girls that work at TD Bank. Because they know how much money I have, which is nothing. I'm a struggling comic, but every time I try to go in there, they try to seduce me. They're like, hey, Pat, would you like to make a deposit? I'm like, not you. First thing I'm doing is making withdrawal. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm a bit of a celebrity whore, too. I love meeting celebrities. That's why I live for that. I drove down to Atlantic City to meet Charlie Sheen. I got up to his photo op line and I said, hey, man, how did you even contract HIV? He said, between 2.5 men. I was watching Titanic on TV the other day, and like I'm a bit of a history buff, and you know, the musicians continued to play while the Titanic was plunging into the ocean. But I'm going to give you some advice, North Andover. You've never heard this before. Did you know that there was a comic on board the Titanic when it was going down? Absolutely true. I'd like to take us back to 1912 on that night. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep your table screaming down to a minimum. So where are you staying tonight? First class? You're shooting me. Your wife looks like she's from third, but I'll tell you this. Did you guys try the salad dinner before the show tonight? Boy, I hear the iceberg was to die for. I know you're out there. I can hear you screaming. Don't forget to tip your waitresses. It's a 2-drink minimum. The captain wanted me to do 45. We're not going to be here at 45. And that's my time, everybody. Introducing you to your next comedian. She's a recovering politician. Please give it up for Heather H.
Good evening. way too short for this thing. Good evening. I got engaged on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That was super romantic. We've been dating for about 6 weeks, so we're taking things